Life at the outpost slowly returned to normal after the scavenger attack. The walls were repaired, the damaged lights were replaced, and the people began to smile again. But something had changed. Everyone now saw Lara not just as a quiet alien, mother, but as a protector. Children would wave at her when she passed. Workers greeted her with respect. She had become part of the community, not because of her strength alone, but because she had chosen to stay and stand with them. Ethan noticed it too. People asked for her advice. Even Greg, the outpost leader, spoke to her often about safety plans. And through it all, Lara stayed humble. She still worked in the garden. She still walked her children to school. She still came home to Ethan. Every night, tired but smiling. One evening, after the children had gone to sleep, Ethan and Lara sat together outside. The night was quiet. The blue flowers from her garden glowed softly around them. "I've been thinking," Ethan said. "About what?" "About staying here forever." She looked at him. "You already live here." "I mean, not just staying, but building something more permanent." Her eyes searched his. "What do you want to build?" "A family. A future with you." Lara was quiet for a moment, her silver eyes soft. "I never thought I would hear those words from a human," she said. "And I never thought I'd say them to someone from the stars," he replied. She leaned against his shoulder. "You already feel like home." They sat there in silence, hand in hand, until the stars faded into morning light. The next few weeks were peaceful. The garden was full of new plants. The children had learned how to read and write in human language. They even started teaching Ethan a few words in Lyra's old language. One day, a ship arrived from the Central Human Council. It brought supplies, news, and a visitor. A woman stepped out wearing a long dark coat and a badge on her chest. Her name was Officer Dana. She was calm but sharp-eyed. "I've come to speak with the alien citizen named Lara," she said. Ethan stepped forward. "She's not just a citizen. She's my partner." Dana nodded slowly. "Then you can join us." They met in the outpost office. Lara sat straight, her hands resting on her knees. Dana opened the folder. "There's been discussion about the recent scavenger attack. Your actions were noted in several reports." Lara said nothing. Dana continued. "The council wants to offer you something rare. Citizenship, full human alliance status." Lara looked surprised. "I thought that was not allowed." "It is? Rarely offered. But we believe your loyalty and bravery have earned it. Your children will be protected under this new status as well." Ethan looked at Lara. "That's good news." Dana added, "But there is a condition." Lara's expression changed. "What is it?" "You must swear loyalty to the human alliance. And you must agree not to contact any remaining Xyrelian clans." Lara frowned. "There are few left, but I would never betray this place." Dana nodded. "Then all that remains is your answer." Lara stood slowly. "I choose this life. I choose this home. My loyalty is not to a flag, but to the people who saved me and my children." Dana smiled. "That will do." The news spread through the outpost. People clapped and hugged her. The children danced in the garden. That night, Ethan cooked a small feast using both human and alien foods. Everyone in the outpost came. After the celebration, Ethan took Lyra's hand and led her away from the lights and noise. He stopped in the middle of the garden. The blue flowers glowed around them. "I have one more thing to ask," he said. She looked at him, curious. He pulled something from his pocket. It was a simple ring, made from a piece of silver wire and a small gem from her home planet. "Not rich," he said. "I don't have a ship anymore. But I have you, and I want you to have me." He held up the ring. "Will you be mine, not as a servant, not as a guest, but as my equal, my partner, my family?" Lyra's eyes filled with tears. Her voice was quiet. "You are not just human. You are heart." She took the ring and placed it on her finger. "Yes." They stood in the garden, surrounded by stars and soft light. Two souls from different worlds now joined as one. Later that night, as they lay beside each other, Lara whispered, "Do you think we'll ever leave this place?" Ethan shook his head. "Only if we have to. I think this is where we're meant to be." She smiled. "Then we'll grow here, like our flowers." He kissed her forehead. "And nothing will ever take this from us." But far beyond the hills, in the cold darkness of space, another signal was moving. One not sent by humans. One not sent by scavengers. Something else had seen the outpost. Something watching. Something coming. The garden Lara planted grew larger each week. The blue flowers spread fast. Their soft glow lit up the edges of the outpost at night. The fruits grew round and full, and people started asking Lara how she did it. Ethan helped her every day. He brought water, dug new rows, and fixed the pipes that kept the soil fresh. Sometimes the children helped too, laughing and singing while they carried small tools or chased bugs around the garden. People at the outpost began to talk about it. They called the garden the Peace Patch. Some said it brought calm dreams. Others just liked how it looked. But for Ethan and Lara, it was more than a garden. It was the first thing they built together. One morning, while Ethan was checking the solar panels near the greenhouse, the outpost alarm went off. A loud, deep sound filled the air. Everyone froze. It was the sound of incoming ships. Ethan dropped his tools and ran to the main square. Others were gathering there too, looking up at the sky. 3 dark ships hovered above the hills. They weren't human ships, and they weren't like Lyra's people's old ships either. They were rough, uneven, like they were built from scrap. Outpost Captain Greg spoke through the loudspeaker. "Everyone stay calm. We don't know who they are. Defense shields are up. All families go indoors." Ethan ran to find Lara and the children. He found them near the water tanks. "Come on," he said. "Let's go inside." Lara looked up at the sky. Her eyes narrowed. Those ships, they belonged to the scavenger clans. Scavengers? They loot old wrecks. They attack weak settlements. They do not care about peace. Ethan helped her gather the kids. They ran back to their home and locked the door. He kept looking out the small window. A message came through the outpost speakers. "This is Commander Grell of the Free Scarring Clans. We see your gardens. We see your lights. We want food and power. Give it, or we take it." The outpost fell silent. Greg answered from the tower. "We are a peaceful post. We can trade. But we won't give up everything." Grell's voice came back, sharper. "Then we take." The next moment, the sky lit up. One of the scavenger ships fired a warning blast near the outer wall. Dirt and rock exploded into the air. Ethan looked at Lara. She was quiet, thinking fast. "I've seen their kind before," she said. "They will break in if we wait." "What do we do?" Ethan asked. "I know how to fight them, but I need tools, and I need trust." "You have both," Ethan said without pause. Lara opened a hidden box near the garden. Inside was her old battle gear, pieces of her armor, a small energy blade, and a strange device. "I kept these in case we ever had to run," she said. "Now I will use them to protect." Ethan helped her put on the armor. It was damaged but still strong. She strapped the blade to her side. "Stay with the children," she said. "I'm not staying behind," he said. She looked at him. "Have no armor." "But I have you," he said. They left the home and ran toward the defense tower. Greg was already there, shouting orders. When he saw Lara, he looked surprised. "She knows who they are," Ethan told him. "She can help." Greg nodded. "Fine. We'll need every hand." Lara looked at the screen showing the scavenger ships. "They have weak shields, but strong weapons. We need to overload their signal tower." "We can't reach it," Greg said. "I can," Lara said, "but I'll need someone to guide me from the inside." "I'll go with her," Ethan said. The plan was simple. Ethan and Lara would use the back tunnel to reach the scavenger signal point, hidden behind the hills. The others would create noise from the front to distract them. Lara handed Ethan a small pulse gun. Just point and press. I've never used one before. Just don't drop it, she said. They moved through the dark tunnel. The path was narrow, and the air smelled like dust. Ethan's heart beat fast, but Lara moved like a shadow. She led the way, eyes sharp, blade ready. When they reached the top of the hill, they saw the signal post. It was a tall tower made from old parts. One guard stood near it. I'll handle him, Lara whispered. Before Ethan could reply, she slipped forward. In one move, she struck the guard's arm, knocking his weapon away, then tapped his neck with her blade. He dropped quietly. Now, she said, push that button on the box. Ethan found the panel and hit the button. The tower lights flickered, then went dark. Down below, the scavenger ships started spinning. Their weapons stopped firing. Confused, voices came from their radios. Back at the outpost, Greg gave the order. The defense system fired a strong pulse at the nearest ship. The scavenger ships, now unable to aim, started rising into the sky. Commander Grell's voice returned. This isn't over. Lara took the radio. Yes, it is. Leave now. Next time, you'll lose more than power. The ships flew off into the sky. The alarm stopped. The outpost was safe again. When Ethan and Lara returned, the people cheered. Even the children ran to them, hugging their legs. You were amazing, Ethan said. Lara looked tired but proud. I only did what I had to. You saved the outpost. She looked around at the people. They accepted me. I could not let them fall. That night, the stars seemed brighter than Ethan, and Lara stood again by the glowing garden. Do you regret staying here? He asked Dot. She shook her head. No, this is home. And we protect our home, he said. Together they looked at the garden, the children sleeping inside, and the quiet hills. They had come from pain, hunger, and fear. But now they stood in a place made of light, of trust, and of something even stronger than survival love. Weeks passed. The outpost settled into its slow rhythm. Every morning, Ethan woke up before the sun. He would prepare breakfast, then check his tools and repair lists for the day. Lara would take the children to class, then spend her hours working. In the greenhouse, their days moved like clockwork, quiet but full. Ethan no longer thought of himself as a supply runner. He felt like a builder now, a part of something. Each day he fixed something new, a cracked pipe, a broken solar panel, a stuck door. People started calling him for help, and he never said no. One day, while repairing a broken vent above the storage room, he heard running footsteps. It was Lyra's daughter, Ethan. She shouted, breathless. He dropped his tools and climbed down quickly. What is it? She grabbed his hand. Mother is hurt. Ethan's heart jumped. He ran after her to the greenhouse. Inside, he saw Lara sitting on the floor, holding her arm. Her hand was bleeding. One of the farming tools had snapped and cut her deep. Another worker stood nearby, trying to stop the bleeding with a cloth. Ethan dropped to his knees beside her. What happened? I was helping move the heavy bin, she said, her voice low. It broke and cut me. Ethan looked at the wound. It was bad, but not deadly. You need stitches. Let's go. He carried her to the clinic himself. The medic, Kate, quickly cleaned and stitched the cut. Lara didn't cry, didn't even flinch, but Ethan could see the pain in her eyes. Afterward, he helped her back to her room. The children followed closely behind, quiet and worried. Ethan made her sit on the bed and brought her water. You shouldn't lift heavy things, he said softly. I'm not weak, she replied. I know, he said. But you don't have to do everything alone. She looked at him. I forget that sometimes. He sat beside her. Let me help more. She smiled a little. You already help with everything. I want to do more. That night, Ethan stayed with them. He cooked dinner and made sure Lara didn't use her injured hand. The children were cheerful again, happy to have them both nearby. Later, after the kids were asleep, Ethan and Lara sat outside under the stars. I used to dream of flying away, Ethan said, finding a place where I belonged. I always thought it would be some wild planet or deep space post. I never thought it would be here. Lara leaned her head against his shoulder. You gave me a reason to live. You didn't just save us. You became part of us. He turned his head toward her. We've come a long way, haven't we? She nodded, and I want to go further. He held her hand. Her fingers were cold, but her touch was gentle. I never wanted anything serious, he said. But this, it feels right. I don't know the human way of love, she said. But I feel something when I see you. Something that keeps me breathing. He smiled. That's enough. The next few days passed calmly. Lara's arm began to heal, and the children returned to their usual smiles and laughter. Ethan took more time helping in the greenhouse so she wouldn't have to do the heavy work. One afternoon, the outpost leader called a meeting. Everyone gathered in the square. Greg, the captain, stood with a tablet in his hands. We received a message from command, Greg said. There's been trouble at a nearby mining base. They need supplies and a few good hands to repair the machines. Ethan looked at Lara, who stood beside him. I want to help, he whispered. She nodded. You should go. I don't want to leave you. You won't be far, she said. The children and I will wait. Ethan left the next day in a small transport ship with 3 other workers. The mining base was rough and loud. Broken machines, power failures, and short tempers. But Ethan worked hard. He fixed what he could and shared food and tools with the workers. After a week, he received a message from Lara. The children miss you. I miss you too. Come back soon. Ethan smiled when he read it. He sent back a message. Just a few more days. Save some of that strange soup for me. When he finally returned, the children ran to him, hugging his legs and pulling at his arms. Lara stood behind them, her smile warm and wide. You came back, she said. Of course I did. That night, they ate together, laughed, and told stories. Ethan felt something deep in his chest, something that made him feel full. It wasn't just food or warmth. It was love. After dinner, Lara took him outside. I want to show you something, she said. She led him to the edge of the outpost, where a small garden was growing. It was filled with strange blue flowers and round, glowing fruits. I planted. These were seeds from our ship, she said. I didn't know if they would grow. They did, Ethan said, amazed. Just like us, she whispered. Broken, lost, but now growing again. He looked at her. Lara. She took his hand and placed it on her chest. My heart is yours now, she said. You fed my children. You gave me light. I belong to you. Ethan's voice was low, and I belong to you. They stood together under the stars, surrounded by flowers and by something even more rare, peace, trust, and the beginning of a future that neither of them had ever expected. Ethan's days slowly became different. He no longer thought only about fuel, supply lists, or delivery times. Now he thought about whether the children had eaten, if Lara was smiling, and if the sun would rise warm or cold. He spent each morning helping around the outpost. Sometimes he carried crates to the storage area. Sometimes he repaired broken panels on the greenhouse roof. But most of all, he helped Lara and her children settle into their new life. Lara worked in the greenhouse with other volunteers. Her hands were quick and careful. She had a natural understanding of the plants. She watered them gently, picked the ripe ones, and even helped heal the weak ones. The human workers were surprised by her skill. One afternoon, a worker named Sam walked up to Ethan and said, "That alien woman, she's good with the plants." Never seen tomatoes grow that fast. Ethan smiled. She grew food on her home planet. Their tech was different, more natural. Sam nodded. You picked a good one. Ethan looked down. It's not like that. Sam raised an eyebrow. Could have fooled me. Later that day, Ethan sat on a bench near the school building. The children were inside learning basic human words and numbers. He could hear their small voices repeating after the teacher. Lara walked over and sat beside him. "They like school," she said. "I can tell. I hear them say Ethan at least 10 times during lessons." She laughed quietly. "They miss you when you're not near. I don't know why. You gave him life," she said. "They remember." Ethan looked at her. She wasn't wearing armor anymore, just simple clothes like the others. Her skin looked better now, not so pale. Her eyes were calm. She looked more like a mother than a soldier. "Do you miss your world?" he asked Dot. She looked up at the sky. "Yes, but it's gone. That wreck was the last of our people in this region. I saw too much death. This place. It is new, but it is peaceful. You're strong," he said. She smiled. "I had to be." They sat together in silence. Then her daughter ran up and hugged Lyra's leg. "Look, Mother," she said in a mix of human and Xyrillian words. "I drew Ethan." The girl held up a piece of paper. It showed a small drawing of Ethan with big hands and a funny smile. Standing next to the 3 children and Lara, Ethan laughed. "That's the best drawing I've ever seen." The girl grinned and ran back inside. Lara watched her go. "They are happy. I thought they would never smile again." "You made them strong," Ethan said. "No," she said. "You did." That night, Ethan cooked dinner in his small kitchen. He had learned to mix human food with a few alien spices Lara had kept from the wreck. The result was strange, but tasty. The children loved it. After dinner, they all sat outside. The stars were clear. The children lay on the grass, pointing at different lights in the sky. "That one," the boy said, "is our old home." "No," the older girl said. "That one." Lara smiled. "It doesn't matter where home was. What matters is where we are now." Ethan looked at her. "You sound like a human." She laughed softly. "Maybe I'm learning." Later, when the children were asleep, Lara stayed behind. She stood near the small fire Ethan had made. "You said before that I don't owe you anything," she said. "I still mean it. But I want to give you something. You already have peace, family, something I never expected." She stepped closer. "Then let me give more. Not because I must, but because I choose to." Ethan didn't move. He didn't speak. He just looked at her eyes. They were glowing again, just a little. She reached out and took his hand. "You are not just a supply man anymore. You are the reason we live. Let me stand by your side. Let me be your strength." He didn't pull away. "And I'll be yours." From that night, things changed. Not suddenly, but slowly. They began sharing more time, more words, more quiet moments that needed no sound. The people at the outpost noticed. Some smiled, some whispered, but no one said anything unkind. One day, a small ship landed at the outpost. A man stepped out wearing a clean uniform. He introduced himself as Officer Lane from the new Border Command. "I heard there's a Xyrillian family here," he said to the outpost leader. Ethan watched from a distance as Lane spoke with Greg and Kate. Lara stood nearby, holding her children. Lane walked over to them. "You're the alien woman rescued by this man?" Lara nodded. Lane pulled out a scanner and checked her ID. "You are clear to stay. You have no criminal record, but the rules say you need a human sponsor." "She has one," Ethan said. "Step in." Forward. Lane looked at him. "You? I vouch for her." "For all of them." Lane studied him, then looked at Lara. "Do you agree to be part of this man's household?" Lara stepped closer to Ethan. "Yes, I already am." Lane typed something into his device and nodded. "Done. Welcome to the frontier." He turned and walked back to his ship. Ethan looked at Lara. "That was fast." She smiled. "So now we're official?" He laughed. "Guess we are." The children ran around them, laughing and spinning in the sunlight. The air was warm. The World was peaceful. And for the first time, Ethan felt like he wasn't drifting from place to place anymore. He had landed. He had found something. He had found a home. The rescue ship arrived after 4 hours. It was a medium-sized transport vessel with the human peace symbol painted on its side. The engines hummed as it landed on the dusty wreck site. A small crew of medics and tech officers stepped out. Ethan stood near the entrance of the broken alien ship, waiting for them. Lara stood behind him, holding her youngest daughter in her arms. The other 2 children stood close to her legs, their hands gripping her armor. The lead medic, a woman named Kate, stepped forward. "You sent the signal?" Ethan nodded. 3 survivors. No serious injuries, but they need food, shelter, and warmth. Kate's eyes widened when she saw Lara and the children. Xyrelians? "They're civilians," Ethan said firmly. They were stranded. No weapons. No threat. Kate looked at the tired children, then at Lara, who lowered her eyes. After a moment, Kate gave a small nod. "Let's get them inside." Lara hesitated. Her grip tightened on her child. Ethan gently placed his hand on her shoulder. "It's safe. They'll help." She nodded slowly and followed. Inside the rescue ship, the children were wrapped in thermal blankets. A medic gave them warm nutrient soup. Lara sat beside them, still not touching her own food. She kept watching them, her eyes never leaving their small faces. Ethan leaned against the wall, watching the scene. For the first time since he'd met her, Lara looked at peace. Later, Ethan spoke with the captain of the rescue ship. The captain was a quiet man named Greg. He agreed to take Lara and her children to a human outpost nearby. It was a small settlement, mostly used for trade and repairs. "There's enough food, housing, and safety," Greg said. "But after that, what happens next is up to her." Ethan nodded. "I'll go with them." "You sure?" Greg asked. "You have other routes." "I'll delay them," Ethan said. Just a few days. The ship lifted off and flew toward the outpost. Lara sat beside Ethan now. Her youngest daughter slept in her lap. She turned her head slowly and whispered, "Thank you again." Ethan smiled a little. "You've said that a lot." "I mean it every time," she said softly. The outpost was a small place, surrounded by metal walls and guarded by drones. But it wasn't cold. It had people, humans, and even a few aliens working together. The buildings were simple, but strong. Life was quiet here. Lara and the children were given a clean room with beds, warm clothes, and plenty of food. The children smiled for the first time since Ethan met them. Ethan stayed in a small guest unit. He visited them each day. The children started calling him Ethan, trying to say his name in their soft voices. Lara smiled every time they did. One morning, as the sun rose over the desert hills, Lara came to Ethan's door. He opened it and saw her standing with her hands folded. "I want to talk," she said. He let her in. They sat across from each other at a small table. "I've been thinking," she said quietly. "We have no home, no future. But here, the children are alive. They laugh, they eat, and they look at you like you are family." Ethan looked down, unsure of what to say. "I want to stay near you," she continued. "Not because I owe you, but because I believe you care." "I do care," Ethan said, "but I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not a father. I'm not even good with kids." "You're kind." "That's enough," she replied. He looked into her eyes. They weren't glowing like before, but they were soft and calm. "You don't need to serve me," he said. "I don't want to serve you," she replied. "I want to live beside you." Her words stayed with Ethan. That night, he didn't sleep much. He thought about her, about the children, about the strange way fate had pushed them together. The next day, he helped Lara register at the outpost office. She was given a work role helping in the greenhouses. The children were enrolled in basic learning classes with other kids. They were nervous at first, but soon started to fit in. Ethan stayed longer than planned. He was supposed to return to his supply route, but each time he prepared to leave, something held him back. One evening, as the sun set, he walked through the small garden behind the outpost. Lara stood there, looking at the flowers. The sky was orange and purple. The air was warm. He walked up beside her. "They say the soil here is better than other planets," she said. "Looks that way," Ethan replied. She looked at him. "Will you leave soon?" "I don't know." She nodded slowly. "I've seen many stars, many ships," she said. "But you are different." "I'm just a guy with a backpack," he said. "You gave me hope, and that's more than any captain or soldier ever gave." He didn't answer. He just stood beside her, watching the sky. Then suddenly a small hand grabbed his leg. It was her son, holding a piece of fruit and smiling. "Ethan," the boy said, holding the fruit up to him. Ethan knelt and took the fruit. "Thanks, buddy." The boy giggled and ran back to his sisters. Lara smiled. "They love you." Ethan looked at the fruit, then at her. "I guess I'm part of the family now." "You are," she said. "If you choose to be." He looked around at the quiet garden, at the soft glow of the outpost lights, and at the peaceful sky. It wasn't the life he expected, but it felt right. "Maybe I'll stay." "You said, Dot." She reached out and gently took his hand. He didn't pull away. The stars above them twinkled softly, as if watching two different hearts slowly find their way to one place together. Ethan sat alone in his small supply shuttle, staring out the window at the broken remains of what used to be an alien colony ship. The ship was massive, floating in pieces above the dusty planet. Smoke rose from a few of the wrecked sections, while others had gone completely dark. It had been hit during the final days of the war between humans and the Cyrilians. The war was over now. Peace signed just 2 months ago. But peace didn't erase hunger. It didn't rebuild homes or feed children. Ethan was a supply runner. He wasn't a soldier or a captain. He just delivered food, water, and medicine to colonies that needed help. Most people didn't want to go near alien wrecks even after the war. Ethan went anyway. He believed someone might still be alive on that ship. He guided his shuttle down toward a flat part of the broken alien craft. As he landed, dust and debris scattered around. He grabbed his backpack, filled with protein bars, water packs, and emergency kits, and opened the hatch. The air was dry, silent. He walked carefully through the ruined corridors. Most of the lights were dead, and wires hung like vines from the ceiling. After about 10 minutes of walking, he heard something. A soft sound. A voice. He froze. Human. The voice was shaky. Female? Strange, but soft. Ethan turned and saw her. She was tall, thin, her pale blue skin covered in dirt and cuts. Her eyes were large and silver, glowing slightly in the darkness. She wore torn armor, clearly damaged. But what struck him the most was not her appearance. It was her eyes. She was crying. "I'm not here to hurt you," Ethan said slowly, raising his hands. "I brought supplies." The alien woman stepped forward. She looked exhausted, her shoulders trembling. "My children are hungry, human," she said, her voice cracked. "Please." Ethan stepped closer. He reached into his pack and pulled out 2 protein bars. She took them, but didn't eat. Instead, she turned and motioned for him to follow. He followed her through the corridor until they reached a dark room. There, in the corner, he saw them, 3 small Xyrilian children. 2 girls and 1 boy, curled up together, weak and shaking. Their skin looked even paler than hers, their eyes dull. Without saying a word, she knelt and opened the protein bars, handing 1 to each child. They ate slowly at first, then faster. The sound of chewing and soft whimpers filled the room. Ethan dropped his pack to the floor and began pulling out water packs and more food. "Are there others?" he asked. The alien woman shook her head. "Only us. The rest are gone. Killed when the power systems failed. No air, no heat." You looked at her again. She hadn't eaten anything. She just kept watching her children. "Here," Ethan said. Handing her a bar dot, she hesitated, then accepted it with both hands and bowed her head. "Thank you. What's your name?" he asked. "My name is Lara." "I'm Ethan," he said. She looked at him for a long time, her eyes filled with something more than just thanks. There was fear, sorrow, but also hope. "You saved us," she said. "And we have nothing. No home, no food. I will do anything for you, just please don't let them starve again." "You don't owe me anything," Ethan said quietly. "I do," she replied. "You don't know what it means to see your children dying and be powerless." He didn't respond right away. Instead, he pulled out a small device and activated it. It sent out a signal to call for a larger rescue ship. They need more supplies, more warmth, maybe even doctors. Lara sat beside her children and held them close. "Do you have anyone?" Ethan asked. She shook her head. "No husband. He died in the crash. He was the pilot." Ethan nodded slowly. "I'm sorry." She looked at him again. "You are kind. I didn't expect kindness from a human." "I'm just a guy with food packs in the ship," he said with a half smile. "To me, you are a savior," she whispered. The next few hours passed in silence. Ethan lit a small heat lamp to warm the room. The children slowly started to speak, asking their mother soft questions in their language. Lara answered gently, brushing their hair back. Comforting them, Ethan walked through the rest of the wreckage, searching for anything useful, a med kit, tools, even old batteries. He found a few things, but the place was mostly ruined. When he returned, Lara was sitting alone. "They are sleeping now," she said. "Rescue will be here in a few hours," Ethan told her. She looked at the floor. "What happens then?" "They'll be taken to a human outpost. There's food, shelter. It's not much, but it's better than this." "Will we be safe?" "Yes, you're civilians. The war is over." She stood up and walked closer to him. "I want to repay you." "You don't have to," he said again. "I want to. You gave me back my children. I gave up hope. Now you brought it back." He didn't know what to say. "I am not asking to repay with my body," she added, reading the confusion in his face. "I just want to be near the one who saved us. Let me serve you, help you, follow you. I'm just a supply pilot," he sighed. "I go from one planet to the next. It's not exciting." "I don't need excitement," she said. "I need someone who won't let my children die." He looked at her again. She was strong, despite her thin body. Brave, despite the fear. And in her eyes, he saw a spark. "You can stay with me for now," he said. "Until you're safe." She nodded. Double quotes, "Thank you, Ethan." The room fell quiet again. But this time, the silence was warm, not cold. The ship above them was still broken. But inside the wreckage, something new had begun. A strange connection between two lost beings from two different worlds. And outside, high above in the sky, the stars watched them silently.